Welcome to the Communication Queens podcast for the visionary leaders, speakers, service providers, and podcasters who are looking to stand out sharing their story. I'm your host, Kimberly Spencer, former screenwriter turned master communications coach. On this podcast, I'll be coaching you on how to share your own transformation story so that you increase your visibility, influence, and income on podcast interviews. Let's get your voice heard.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to share with you the fact that my book, Make Every Podcast Want You, How to Become So Radically Interesting You'll Barely Keep from Interviewing Yourself, is now available on Amazon. So this episode is sponsored by my book. I am so excited to have birthed this book baby into the world. So click the link below and you will get your copy. I am so honored and excited to have been on this journey with you. This is the book that combines all the NLP communication strategies that we talk about on this podcast, along with podcast guesting strategies, tips, tricks, and how you share your story so that you serve, connect, and sell with your message. This book combines all of that to make you a radically interesting and masterful podcast guest that every podcast will want to have, including the top 1%. So let's get you booked on those top 1% of podcasts when you get your copy of Make Every Podcast Want You, How to Become So Radically Interesting You Will Barely Keep from Interviewing Yourself. Click the link below to buy it now. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Communication Queen podcast. I am your host, Kimberly Spencer. So honored to be here with you. Today we have another excerpt, another sneak peek into my upcoming book, Make Every Podcast Want You, How to Become So Radically Interesting You'll Barely Keep from Interviewing Yourself. So we're going to dive in, sit back, and get ready for a little story time. This is from the chapter called Recovering Gracefully from Mistakes. Mistakes happen. You flub a word, fall out of your chair, accidentally hit the microphone. While you may fear making a mistake on an interview, actually, it could be the best thing for building rapport with your audience. The perfection paradox. Remember back in 2013 when Jennifer Lawrence was just getting on the scene, eating burritos, flipping off the paparazzi? Both she and Anne Hathaway were up for Academy Awards that year. Anne Hathaway, compared to Jennifer Lawrence, was just the opposite. Anne Hathaway was poised, elegant, and the picture of perfection of an Oscar-worthy actress. And the internet eviscerated her. In fact, at one time, if you Googled Anne Hathaway annoying, you'd get 1.5 million search results. Crazy. So what gives? They're both equally talented. They are both Academy Award winners. What is the big difference? Simple. Anne Hathaway came across as perfect. Jennifer Lawrence came across as human. There is a psychological dichotomy where the more perfect you appear, the less relatable you seem. The more human you are, the more relatable people perceive you to be. People don't buy perfect because deep down, we all know we're not. According to the National Science Foundation, the average person has about 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts per day, and about 80% of these thoughts are negative, and 95% of them are repetitive, meaning they're already on a subconscious loop. Our brains are built with a natural negative bias to seek out danger. Back in ye old caveman days, it was considered dangerous to be different than the tribe. We don't like things or people that are not like us. Remember mirror neurons from chapter 3? When you can see all the things that are quote-unquote wrong or negative about you, but not someone else, your brain immediately seeks to answer the question, what's wrong with them? We don't trust what is not us. You've heard the saying, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. Your audience doesn't want you to be perfect. They want to know how you're going to help them. They need to trust your message before they buy your products and services. So have your message also contain your mess. Allow your message to be messy, and you increase the audience's trust and your own likability. People don't buy perfect. People buy from people. And real people make mistakes, have struggles, falter on their habits, fall off the wagon, lose their shit, eat burgers, yell at their kids even when they really try not to, have spats with their spouses, forget to do their laundry, say something inappropriate, procrastinate, feel sad, upset, angry, frustrated. We're human. The most celebrated are the rehabilitated. Wicked, the musical. Now, here's the beautiful part about our humanity. As Alexander Payne said, to err is human, to forgive divine. So your own mistakes, flubs, and F-ups are a demonstration of your own self-forgiveness for your own humanity. It's a reflection of your divine nature. which also guides your audience to theirs. And you thought this was just a podcasting book. Ha! By messing up, owning it, and allowing yourself to be perceived as human, you are allowing your audience to tap into their higher self, forgiving your errors, and finding you more relatable, authentic, and in the process. Win-win. Their humanity sees your humanity. Their divine nature sees your divine nature of forgiveness. Namaste. It's Law of Attraction 101. Like attracts like, or as scientists prefer, mirror neurons, baby. I figured this out early on in my first business as a freelance Pilates instructor. I was 19. I was still battling bulimia and winning. And yet, I found a new skill set, Pilates, and was thrust into a leadership position as an instructor with a heart of service. I'd seen what Pilates had done not only for my body, but for helping me heal my relationship with my body. I coached my clients on what I knew, Pilates. I had a system and a framework for success. I didn't coach them on how to eat or what to eat. Back then, I was still figuring that out for myself. I didn't have a skill set or a framework for that yet, and I was 100% honest about that. But Pilates I knew and understood. I could get you to feel your body shift and change in ways that you never even imagined it could, especially postpartum, post-surgery, and post-hating your body. I discovered a solution that I was also in integrity with because I was also actively using it daily in my own life for my own healing. I got my clients results, and I got more clients because I was honest about my own story. I shared openly about my journey from being an exercise-induced asthmatic struggling to run down the block to eventually now a 6-time marathon runner. Pilates was my process for finding my way back to my body. I shared my love of what Pilates did for my body and my own self-confidence. I didn't pretend to have self-confidence figured out. I was still downing bottles of laxatives at night as my binges became more and more sporadic. Within 1 year of teaching Pilates at the studio I was freelancing at, I had become the highest paid, most fully booked instructor there. Clients came to me because I used to hate exercise, and I shared how I found a way to love it. They saw how I loved it. Clients stayed with me because I pushed them using the system I pushed myself just as hard in, Pilates. Clients wanted to work with me because I was honest about downing half a lemon meringue pie the night before and lovingly, quote unquote, punishing them with another set of 10 tabletop legs in a packed class, declaring gleefully, 10 more. People buy your process of perfecting. They do not buy you as being perfect. So in your stories, share your process of perfecting that will give your audience results. Speaking of which, here is my simple process for processing mistakes on air or off air. For an example, you can see our Instagram post there, and I will link to that down below. Number 1, regulate. It's a podcast interview. No puppies died because you messed up a word. All is well. Let your sympathetic nervous system and fears of rejection chill the heck out. Worst case scenario, you can ask the podcaster to edit that piece out. They probably will anyway. They want to make you look good because you looking good makes them look good. Win-win. So chill. Take a deep breath. Inhale longer than you exhale. Turn on your parasympathetic nervous system. Yes, this is my Pilates coming back into full play. This is your rest and digest nervous system. And if you're in the coaching industry, you have heard about the power of nervous system regulation. So allow yourself to just breathe. Take a minute, take a beat. And then, number 2, reframe. Remember, mistakes make you more human, more relatable, and thus your story more impactful. You have just done yourself a huge favor by humanizing yourself in the eyes of the podcaster and their audience. You have demonstrated authenticity and vulnerability by being yourself, fully human. Thank yourself. And step number 3, remember, shame loves secrets. So pretending like it didn't happen is going to make it more cringy. If you need to, put on your best Jennifer Lawrence impression and just have a laugh at yourself. Number 4, reassert. Name it to claim it. Call yourself out. Address it. Be candidly kind to yourself about it, but own it. There is power and profit and possibility in your mistakes. Calling it out also diffuses its power over you, and also it diffuses the potential opportunity for any naysayers or negative Nellies to call you out on a mistake as a shadow of their own negative perceptions. When you name it, you claim it, you own it, and thus it has no power over you. Then, number 5, return. Cue Ariana Grande because thank you, next. Remember, you're on the podcast to serve a purpose. Return to the point of the episode, to serve. You can even use the mistake as a teaching tool, demonstrating the embodiment of the principles you teach on that relate to your values, story, vision, and business. Let's say, for example, one of your company's core values is innovation. You can leverage your mistake as being an example of how you are constantly innovating how you communicate. Or maybe you use it to share how one of your core personal values is having a growth mindset. You then use your mistake as a demonstration of how you just grew together with the podcaster and learning how to communicate better. Show that you know what not to do so you can do better next time. Return to the point of the message, return to the values you preach, return to your divine nature to forgive your mistake, give yourself grace, and move on. After all, it is your humanity that will connect with others to their potential for transformation. I hope you loved this excerpt from my upcoming book, Make Every Podcast Want You: How to Become So Radically Interesting You'll Barely Keep from Interviewing Yourself. I am so excited for this book to come out in March. If you're like, oh my gosh, how do I get myself a copy of this? Then definitely click the button in the description to get on the wait list so that you will be the first to be notified when pre-orders start opening up. I am so excited for this. If you've ever written a book, it is a huge labor of love, and I am pouring everything I know about communication, podcasting, storytelling strategy into this book, weaving in stories of my own journey, of client journeys, of fellow podcasters' journeys into this book. And I am so honored and excited for it to be released in March at the Podcast Movement Evolutions in March in Los Angeles, which is my hometown. So I'm so excited. It is so exciting. So I have no words. I literally lost my words. I'm a writer and I've lost words. So as you're seeing this, you're listening to my humanity coming through, because I am nervous and excited and feeling all the feels, and so honored and humbled to have this book coming through me. And that hopefully, I'm so excited for this to serve you in enhancing your communicatory prowess, in enhancing your oratory skill set, so that you feel confident going into any room, anywhere, sharing your story, serving with your tips and tricks and strategies, and selling the heck out of the amazingness of who you are and what you do and the services that you provide to this world. Thank you so much. Remember, your story has the power to save at least one life. So go out there, stand out, and let your voice be heard. Till next time.
Thank you so much for listening. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with your friends. For more tips on guest podcasting, storytelling, and communication strategies, follow us on social media at Communication Queens Agency and visit us at communicationqueens.com. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. And in the meantime, remember, your story has the power to save one life. Let your story and your voice be heard.